everyone, especially to our teacher, Dr. Marites Buyan Chan. I am Arlene Katagman and I will be reporting about internal audit and management review as part of clause number 9 of the ISO 9001 series of 2015. Let's tackle first what is this internal audit. Okay. The organization shall conduct internal audits at planned intervals to provide information on whether the quality management system is effectively implemented and maintained and conforms to the organization's own requirements for its quality management system and the requirements of this international standard. Okay. The organization shall plan, establish, implement, and maintain an audit program, including the frequency, methods, responsibilities, planning requirements, and reporting, taking into consideration the importance of the processes concerned, changes affecting the organization, and the results of the previous audits. Okay, the organization shall first define the audit criteria and scope for each audit. Second, select auditors and conduct audits to ensure objectivity and the impartiality of the audit process. Third, ensure that the results of the audits are reported to relevant management. Fourth, take appropriate correction and corrective action without undue delay. Fifth, retain documented information as the evidence of the implementation of the audit program and the audit results. Okay. In establishing an internal audit process for the QMS or Quality Management System, the company has several requirements to address. Okay, what is that? Okay, first, what is the schedule or the audit plan? Second, how is the schedule formulated? Third, have all the QMS processes or clauses has been audited? Fourth, how is audit evidence obtained and recorded? Fifth, have the auditors been trained and qualified or qualified? Are audits occurring according to schedule? And last, are the follow-up actions and reporting to management timely? Okay. In establishing an internal audit process for the QMS or Quality Management System, the company has several requirements to address. And these are the following. First, what is the schedule or audit plan? Second, how is the schedule formulated? Third, have all QMS processes or clauses been audited? Fourth, how is audit evidence obtained and recorded? Fifth, have the auditors been trained or qualified? Sixth, are audits occurring according to schedule? And seventh, are the follow-up actions and reporting to management timely? Okay. For an organization seeking registration to ISO 9001 series of 2015 for the first time, evidence should be provided that the organization conducted an internal audit to all clauses in ISO 9001 series of 2015. All. Okay. The internal audit results should provide information on whether the quality management system conforms to the requirements of this international standard. Additionally, the organization needs to demonstrate that it conforms to the organization's own requirements for its quality management system. To satisfy this requirement, internal audit evidence must show that the organization's practices match its interpretation of ISO 9001 series of 2015 as well as its related documented information or procedures and instruction. Kailangan mag-match yung mga requirements ng company as well as yung ISO, no, ISO or international standard. Okay. Next, Table 9.1 shows a process audit plan for the Jones Plastic Company. The injection molding company from Chapter 4, Jones Co., performs the manufacturing processes of molding, machining, and assembly using customer-provided designs. This plan is based on the process audit approach. When auditing a core process such as sales or production, the related support processes can also be sampled. Support processes that connect to all core processes are documents and records, communication of the quality policy and quality objectives, and the competence and training. Production and service processes will typically also link to calibration maintenance and work environment factors. The ISO 9001 series of 2015 clauses at the top of the plan are listed in generic terms to simplify explanation of the process audit concept. In practice, the organization will need to connect the generic ISO 9001 clauses to the actual terms of ISO 9001 series of 2015 to ensure that all requirements are audited. Next, in planning internal audits, the organization needs to satisfy the requirements of Clause 9.2.2. The organization shall plan, as what I have said earlier, establish, implement, and maintain an audit program, including the frequency, methods, responsibilities, planning requirements, and reporting, taking into consideration the importance of the processes concerned, changes affecting the organization, and the results of previous audits. The organization should establish a priority system for allotting auditor time in order to maximize information gleaned from the internal audits. Kinahanglan siya na ay priority, no? Nag-need ng priority system. Okay. This is an example of internal audit plan for a process-based audit. Yan siya. Next, processes with deficiencies from the past audits may need to be audited more frequently than the audits with no issues. Processes presenting the greatest risk to the organization, example, customer returns and or cost impact, should also receive more auditing attention. In the audit plan shown in Table 9.1, the Jones Plastic Company established a ranking system whereby processes with a high impact should be audited every 6 months, medium impact every 12 months, and low impact every 18 months. Once the plan is organized for impact and frequency, the organization should assign auditors for the next year or two. Next. Okay. Qualifications and training requirements for internal auditors. Clause 9.2 does not explicitly define a requirement for auditor qualification. It does state that select auditors and conduct audits to ensure objectivity and the impartiality of the audit process. This is common practice in auditing for all management systems. An internal auditor from the production process should not be assigned to audit his or her own process. Those assigned the responsibility and the authority to manage the QMS need to be judicious when deciding whether they are to involve in providing internal audits for the clause they are responsible for managing. Next, Clause 7.2. This competence states that the organization shall ensure that these persons are competent on the basis of appropriate education, training, or experience. An experienced third-party auditor will challenge the organization on how and why the organization's internal auditors are qualified to conduct ISO 9001 series of 2015 internal audits. A recommended approach for qualifying internal auditors is to have several employees, depending on the size of the organization, trained by the QMS experts either through a public training course or on-site if that option is more efficient due to class size. Once a few employees are qualified to conduct ISO 9001 internal audits, the organization can have them train other employees to do the same. Okay. Next, it is important to have a defined plan for qualifying auditors and to keep records of how they are trained. If a third-party consultant is used to conduct internal audits, their qualifications should be noted in the organization's files and their roles should be documented in the organization's procedures. There are a few ways an organization may retain documented information as evidence of the implementation of the audit program and the audit results. Prepared check sheets or customized question lists are commonly used to drive the audit fact finding. One option used by both internal and external auditors is the process diagram or turtle diagram, an example of which is shown in figure 9.2. Okay. The auditor uses this type of diagram to collect and record input and output data for a process in the head and tail, while the forelegs capture the related equipment, machines, and measuring devices, the employees involved or the training, the processes or process metrics or measures, and the methods or procedures defining the process and control. Okay, this is an example of turtle diagram. While the process diagram can be used effectively to collect evidence during an audit, this technique is prone to error if the auditor is not properly trained and the person being interviewed does not understand the terms and the questions being asked. Okay, this is an example of injection molding process diagram. Okay, next. Prior to interviewing the operating personnel, the auditor should meet with various personnel involved in the process planning and collect information on the inputs, raw materials, and etc. The support documentation to control the process, specific equipment involved, and the parameters to measure the effectiveness of the process are researched and recorded by the auditor. The employees involved in supporting the process being audited are identified as well. This information assists the auditor in verifying the training required for operations, quality, and maintenance personnel. Next. Finally, the output of the process provides the auditor with information on quality acceptance criteria and lot quantities. An audit check sheet can then be used to control the interviews during the audit. In a production or service operation, the check sheet can be organized as process-based to combine several clauses of ISO 9001 series of 2015. An example of a check sheet for a production process is shown in figure 9.4. This is the example of the check sheet. Okay. Next. Okay, internal audit reports and follow-up actions. Okay, the organization needs to maintain a report of the results of the internal audit, including a summary report defining how audit was conducted, issues raised, whether non-conformance and opportunities for improvement or OFIs, and follow-up activities defined. Non-conformance should be entered in the organization's corrective action process. OFIs should be addressed by the organization with follow-up response documented. An OFI is generally defined as an observation, which is not a non-conformance but a suggestion to improve the efficiency, clarity, or some other aspect of the process. These opportunities should be recorded in the final audit report for the benefit of the organization. Next, examples of audit questions in clause 9.2.1. Okay, these are the following. It should be addressed by the organization to achieve their goal to have this ISO certification. Lead to management review. Okay. Top management shall review the organization's quality management system at planned intervals, katulad din ng internal audit, to ensure its continuing suitability, adequacy, effectiveness, and alignment with the strategic direction of the organization. Okay. The management review shall be planned and carried out taking into consideration. Okay, these are the following that should be take into consideration. Yan. Okay, next. Okay, 9.3.3, management review outputs. Kung may inputs, may outputs naman. The outputs of the management review shall include decisions and actions related to, first, opportunities for improvement, or OFI. Second, any need for changes to the quality management system. And third is the resource needs. Yan, kailangan siya i-review. Next, management review inputs. Okay, the management review shall be planned and carried out taking into consideration this following. Okay, the status of actions from previous management reviews, kung ano nang nangyari. Changes in external and internal issues that are relevant to the quality management system, kung ano nang mga pinagbago. Third, the adequacy of resources. Kung marami pa ba ang mga resources? Kung sapat ba? Next, the effectiveness of actions taken to address risks and opportunities. Kung effective ba yung mga ginawang action. Next is the opportunities for improvement, or OFIs. The management review shall contain information on the performance and effectiveness of the quality management system, including trends in, first, customer satisfaction and feedback from relevant interested parties. Next, the extent to which quality objectives have been met. Next, process performance and conformity of products and services. Next, non-conformities and corrective actions. Next is monitoring and measurement results. Next is audit results. And then last is the performance of internal or external providers rather. Okay, next. Okay, kung may input, meron namang output, management review outputs. The outputs of the management review shall include decisions and actions related to these OFIs, or opportunities for improvement. Next is any need for changes to the quality management system, and then last is the resource needs. Okay. Next, the organization shall retain documented information as evidence of the results of management reviews. The organization has several options related to the reporting the status of the QMS. The management review meeting can be incorporated into the organization's business management meetings. Pwede siya isabay doon, sa mga meeting. Whatever the format, the agenda of the QMS review meeting is straightforward and prescriptive. Each agenda topic needs to be addressed during the frequency cycle established in the organization's planning. At a minimum, the QMS should be reviewed annually by the organization's senior staff, no? Kailangan siyang i-review annually, no? Taon-taon talaga. Okay, next. Consistent with the requirement of ISO 9001, series of 2015, clause 5.1, the leadership and commitment, ensuring the integration of the quality management system requirements into the organization's business processes. Top management should both attend and fully participate in the quality management meeting. No? Kailangan talaga yung mga nasa higher na mga positions no, na mag-attend or umattend sa management meeting para sa ginagawang review ng management nila. Okay. The emphasis on top management's stronger involvement in the QMS is new to ISO 9001 series of 2015. Many ISO 9001 certified organizations have already integrated quality management into their business model and strategy. Next, a natural byproduct of a successful BMS is improved employee, supplier, and community relationships. ISO 9001 series of 2015 is attempting to address this apparent gap by providing the registrar's third-party auditors with clear requirements related to top management's direct involvement in the organization's quality performance in connection to the organization's business strategy. Suitability means the QMS must be appropriate, no? The organization's current processes with what the organization does. Okay, next. If the organization adds new manufacturing or service activities, the organization needs to consider whether the QMS is still appropriate. Adequacy refers to whether the QMS meets the requirements of the international standard and is implemented appropriately. Effectiveness, on the other hand, refers to whether it is achieving the desired results. Example, meeting its objectives. No? Kung naabot ba yung mga objectives. When reviewing the QMS, management should provide a summary statement addressing the suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of the QMS, highlighting where gaps may exist and where management actions or resources are required to put the quality commitments back on track. Okay, next. Audit question clause 9.3.1. These are the following questions that should be addressed. What is the frequency for conducting management review of the QMS? What are the dates of the 2 most recent meetings? Kailangan sagutan yan. No? How does the organization review the performance of the products or services provided by the organization? Kung paano ni-review? How does the organization review the performance of the processes in the QMS? Example, the sales or order entry, design, external providers, and so on and so forth. Okay. Also, do management review notes contain information on results of audits, customers, feedback, status of corrective actions, no? Kailangan nandoon yun lahat, no? And marami pang iba. And then last is, how does the organization summarize the suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of its QMS? Okay, to sum up, the purpose of an internal audit is to systematic and independent assess the effectiveness of any organization's quality management system and its overall performance, no? Sa kabuuan, lahat-lahat na. It demonstrates the compliance with a planned arrangements, example, the QMS, and how its processes are implemented and maintained. Kung paano ginawa, no? Kung paano minintina, yun, lahat na yun, no? Sa internal audit. On the other hand, the management review process requires top management to periodically review the quality management system to ensure its continuing suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness while addressing the possible need for changes or for change to quality policy, objectives, targets, and other elements of the QMS. No? Kailangan talaga yung annual na pag-review ng isang organization sa kanilang um, management, no, para makita nila or malaman nila kung effective ba yung ginagawa nila, may pinagbago ba, no, para ma-meet nila ang standard ng ISO, no, ISO 9001 series of 2015. And yun lang, alam ko marami kayong natutunan dahil matatalino kayo. Okay. God bless everyone. This is Arlene Katagman and I'm off. Bye!